Hey guys, Synthetic here, and welcome back to the series where we try to make Ricciardo a world champion despite starting every race from the back of the grid. And as you could see that we are doing 2 episodes today because both races weren't too long, so I thought it might be better to put them in one episode. And here we are for the Singapore Grand Prix. We opted to go for the one stop, which is the fastest strategy around here. And in a second you will also see my setup, which I used in AOR, and I think it's working quite well around here. It gives you a lot of stability, which is important, especially at the end of the races. But here we are, we have 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. It seems that we got a decent start of the line, and we tried to go for the gap on the left because no one is really there who can block us, so we were able to take the first few positions up into P16, which is a very decent start. I think overtaking here might be a bit more tricky compared to Monza, so we have to see what we can do. We are now on the straight and we are looking for the inside, but we decided against the move, and in the hairpin on the right we decided to go for it, and we take the inside line and make another position stick. Next up ahead were I think Hulkenberg and Williams. They were fighting quite a bit, and we are just waiting on a mistake from one of them or both would be ideal. And we just tried to go for a different line, and at this point we decided to go for the inside, but unfortunately we didn't really get the best of runs, so trying to take the outside line, which is not ideal around this corner, but our high downforce setup should work very well against the Williams in this part of the track, and we were able to get P13. And next up ahead was Hulkenberg in the Renault, and we closed the gap quite easily. Our pace here in general is really strong as we dive up on his inside in turn 1, which is very risky, but to be honest I didn't really try a move. He broke so early that I was kind of surprised, and I just took the inside line in order not to hit him. So another position gained up into P12, and P11 was Grosjean in the Haas. So we just tried to get any kind of line or good line against him here. So it seems that there are quite a few cars battling in front, so we closed the gap quite easily. But you can see as well that we pushed a lot, and that was a big theme around here. I think the cockpit cam distracted me a slight bit, and I pushed more than I actually could, and at this point we tried to go for the outside line, but it wasn't really working. So we are on the straight, and we might think about a move down the inside, and we were able to make it stick quite easily. Next up ahead was Alonso, and I think he should be an easier target to overtake. If you can see, the difference in straight line speed is quite enormous, and we were also able to brake really late as there seems to be a pile-up ahead, and I think, I'm not quite sure who of the Mercedes it was. I think it was Lewis Hamilton who had again a problem, which is really unfortunate. And at this point we are already in P9 behind Sainz, and as always it's very tricky to overtake here, but after this part I noticed we had quite a bit of speed, and we just decided to chuck it up on the inside. We weren't really able to make the move stick just yet, but we forced him off the racing line, and in the next corner we just dived on the inside, get a lot of traction, and make another position stick. Next up is his teammate Kvyat in P7, and we got a really good launch of the last corner and another position gained. And it was just lap 4 at this point, and I knew my pace would be strong enough to win this race. So it's quite promising at the moment, so we have to see what we can do. A lap later we were behind Ocon, and we got a decent exit out of the right hand, and here again we tried a very aggressive move. We broke really late. We also got a warning for contact, but I think it wasn't too major. He also pushed us a slight bit to the wall, so fair play. And next up ahead was his teammate Sergio, and I think we were able to gain quite a bit on him, and we just tried to get a good line out of the right-hander as we did against Ocon, but unfortunately we had a lot of oversteer at this point, and we had difficulties to overtake him, but he left the door open, and we just went for the inside and make another position stick. And next up was our teammate, so he shouldn't be also too difficult to overtake because he's in the same car, so yeah, we might have a good chance. And again, got a really good line through this part despite the understeer due to the dirty air, and got a really good line or a really good run out of the corner, and we're getting closer on the straight, and we were able at the end to make the position stick as well, setting a purple sector as well, which shows our potential. But at this point you can see I had a few problems, and by problems I mean I pushed a slight bit too much, which might be due to the cockpit cam. I wasn't sure how much part of the track I can use in this left-hander, so we have to be very careful because it can destroy your race very easily, as the first few cars went into the pits. And here we are now in lap 11, and you can see we just overdrive the car, unfortunately, and again this left-hander is very tricky to take, and unfortunately we just pushed too much. We hit the wall a slight bit, and we hit the wall again, and it was our race over at this point, which is quite frustrating because our pace looked very promising. And as always, we are using no flashbacks or anything like that, so we are out of the race, and quite a painful end to a promising race weekend. And we will also see what this does in the Drivers' Championship as well, because it's not really helping us, and I think Ferrari had a really strong weekend, so we can see that Sebastian was able to win the race, which is not ideal for us. The gap will go down by quite amount, so you can see we are just 21 points ahead now, which is not much, to be honest, and it's not ideal. In terms of constructors, we also lose a lot of points. We're just now 44 points behind Ferrari, which is not ideal. And fortunately we have a second round for this episode. Here you can see the last race results, or the table after the last race, and you can see we have a rain affected race. We have heavy rain at the beginning and lighter rain or no rain at all at the end of the race. So here you can see my setup. I also use in AOR. It's quite good in terms of stability as well. So we have 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. We try to get a solid launch of the line, which I think we managed to do. We were already alongside the two Saubers, or past the two Saubers, and as last race we tried to go for the inside, and we tried to make a few moves stick already, because we have to fight back after the poor weekend we had in Singapore. So we got quite a solid run out of the first few corners, and we are already up into P11, so we gained 9 positions out of the first few corners, which is really insane. And next up ahead were the Fighting Force India and Toro Rosso, and you could see that our traction was just on another level, despite us getting a slight bit of oversteer. But I knew the setup would work really well. I tried to pick a setup which gives me a lot of rear stability, which is important in the race, or not the race as well, but especially in the rain or rain affected race. So yeah, we have to be careful that we don't get too much oversteer, especially in these last few corners. It's easy to spin if you are just using too much ballast or not enough rear wings, especially in this part and the corner after it. And sometimes it helps when you put up your brake balance to 55, 56 or 58. That stabilizes the rear quite a bit. So yeah, at this point we are already in P10, and it was just lap 1, which is quite an achievement. And at this point we tried to get a solid launch out of the last corner, and it seems that it worked quite well. We were able to gain quite a bit on Sergio ahead, but unfortunately we weren't really gaining on the straight, which might be due to the higher wings and the Renault engine in our car. So we had to go for the dive bomb in order to make the move stick, which we managed quite nicely. And P9 ahead of us is Grosjean, so yeah, let's see how long it takes to get him. It seems that we again got quite a solid launch out of the right-hander, which is really tricky in rain conditions. And we are going for the inside. It's very close, a slight bit of contact, and we have to leave him the space onto the right. And it seems that he spun, which is quite strange because he didn't really hit us, or not that I'm aware of any kind of contact. So really unfortunate, but we have to continue. Next up is Hulkenberg. We tried a slight look onto the right-hander, but there's no real opportunity there for overtaking, so we try to be very close into this last corner, second to last and especially last corner, and it seems that we got really good launch out of it onto the straight, and we were able to get around the outside, and that was P7. Although he fights back, he tries to go for the inside, but at the end we just got the better traction, and at the end the position as well. And next up was Ocon in the Force India. He might also be more tricky to overtake on the straights as always, but we managed quite a solid run through the first few corners. And it's all about this part here. You have to get good traction, not too much wheel spin, because the tires will wear out quite a bit there, and we are going at this point for an aggressive inside. We broke a slight bit too late. Ocon tries the switchback, but it wasn't really working. We just got too much traction due to our setup, and yeah, another position gain. Next up was Bottas, and I think he was fighting with a few guys ahead with the Ferraris and my teammate, so Kimi sets a fastest lap. Let's see what we can do. I think my sectors were quite nice at this point, and we were able to gain quite a bit of time to the cars in front, and we were lapping faster every lap. So yeah, a solid start to the race, and you can see we are already close to Valtteri, and we are just in lap I think 5, so still a long way to go, but if we continue like that, it should be a really strong race and a good fight back compared to the bad race we had in Singapore. So yeah, we just try to get a good run out of this right-hander, which seems to work. We get such a good launch that we stick it on the inside on Valtteri, and he fights back. Unfortunately, there was a slight bit of contact. I don't know why he did that, because I left him the room and the space, and he used just too much. And fortunately, in the right-hander, we were able to find a switchback or a cutback line, and at the end make the position stick as well. Next up was our teammate, so as always he shouldn't be too tricky to overtake. We got a really good run out of the second to last corner, which is very important, because if you do a mistake there you will lose again time on the straight. But in a slipstream we were able to gain quite a bit of time, and we tried to break around the outside, and it seems to work very nicely, and we gained another position up into P4. And next up was Lewis ahead, and I think the gap was just over 4 seconds, but we set fastest laps after that, and we were able to gain a lot of time on him, and we caught him by I think more than just a second a lap, which might be also due to his fighting with the Ferraris ahead. So yeah, we have to see how it goes. It seems that we have quite a race on our hands, and yeah, we have to find a smart way to get past these guys, because they will be more tricky to overtake compared to the midfield guys. So again, this seems to be a very strong part, but we aren't really close, or as close as we were to his teammates, so we can't really do a move here, and here as well it's too tricky, and the dirty air isn't really helping us as well, so we have to be patient, and maybe if someone does a mistake, but I'm not quite sure about that, because yeah, Lewis and the other guys in this game are quite strong. So yeah, we just stick around and wait for a weak point to present, and it seems that he got a weak point out of the hairpin, so we tried to go for the inside, which worked quite nicely. We had to leave him the space on the left, but at the end we were able to make the position stick as well. And yeah, ahead were just the two Ferraris, who gained quite a bit of points on us in the last race. So yeah, we really have to fight back, and at this point we were really close to Kimi, but I think he decided to pit, which was really early, and I thought at this point they might go for the 2-stop, and we are going definitely for the 1-stop or the 2-stop if the track will dry out at the end. And you can see we were able to set faster laps compared to the earlier parts of the race, and that was because the track dried out a slight bit. And unfortunately here you can see our teammate, I think he had a puncture or something like that, which cost him a lot of time. I think he was already a lap down, and now we are stacking into the pits, which is also not ideal, but yeah, we are going for the 1-stop. It might be really close compared to the Ferraris, because they got quite an undercut compared to us. So let's see if they are close, and it seems that we just are able to take the lead again, but it was very close with the Sebastian. One slight mistake and he would rejoin ahead of us, but at this point we just pushed as much as we possibly can. We were able to set fastest laps nearly every lap, and Vettel wasn't really able to challenge us. We were just too quick, and at this point you can see the track dried out quite a bit, and you can see as well that the cars behind us already did a second stop, which was not ideal from them. They lost quite a bit of time, and I think our lead was over 30 seconds. And at this point you can see the track was really dry, and DRS got available at this in lap 24, so it's always the sign that you have to go for the pits and change to slick tires or dry tires. And we decided to go for the harder compound. We unfortunately didn't really hit the entry to the corner, which got us a penalty, which again is stupid, but never mind. And we decided to go for the softs, because they should work really well in these conditions. I had a feeling that it would take a few laps till the track really got dry, and you can see we went out of the pits, and the grip wasn't really there at this point. There was still a lot of water on the track, which gave us a bit of oversteer, so we had to be very careful. But at this point we just controlled the race. I think the cars behind us didn't pit, which cost them more and more time, and we were just able to set fastest laps nearly every lap because the track improved quite a bit. And that was the race. We were able to go in quite comfortably and fight back after our poor result in Singapore. And here you can see Sebastian was second, Kimi third. Unfortunately, our teammate didn't make it into the points, and we are leading now by 28 points, which is really solid. And in terms of constructors, I think we didn't really gain too much on the other teams because our teammate didn't finish, but yeah, still a decent result. And that was the race. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.